Happy New Year, F3. This is Tommy Boy for your first Stuff Worth Trying podcast in 2024. Here we are, fellas. Big news afoot. You may or may have not heard all the exciting things that are about to happen across several of F3 podcasts. We have a strong partnership, a new partnership, with an organization that is committed to combating the statistics around male suicide. Stay tuned for a phenomenal conversation and an introduction to this organization, what they're about, how F3 fits in, how Stuff Worth Trying fits in, and how you, now more than ever, are encouraged to submit your ideas to this podcast. We want to give away all the great things that make F3 what it is. We want to give away the ideas, the encouragement, the challenges, the brotherhood. We are opening up our arms to the wider nation to be a part of the F3 nation. Let's get on with it, because this is definitely stuff worth trying. Looking good, Italian job.
Man, I'm feeling good, Tommy Boy. It is an odd time for us to record on a Saturday morning on a gloomy day in the Carolinas, but I'm feeling good. Maybe this should be like our go-to time, because I'm not caffeinated and I'm still feeling like I'm buzzing, man. I'm just excited, I guess.
Yeah, in the parlance of F3, this was definitely a good morning to be in the gloom. It was 35-ish, I think, in your neighborhood, a couple of degrees cooler here. Spitting rain, which turned into significant rain by the end of the workout. Got a great workout in, had a lot of good fun, mumble chatter with the guys, coffee and bagels afterwards, which hopefully did not destroy the entire workout point. But yeah, I mean, it's so funny. We've talked about this before, but there's never been a workout where I've walked away and said, man, I really wish I didn't post this morning.
Yeah. And those rain workouts are the ones where if you haven't done that before, and Slaughter says it all the time, if you've never worked out in the rain, you're really missing out, because that's when, first off, we're sophomoric in our humor to begin with. But when you're playing in the rain, you can't help but act like a kid and play around like a kid.
And you can only be miserable in it for so long, because eventually somebody's going to tell a great dick or fart joke, and then it's off to the races, right? So you realize that the harder you're laughing, the less you're worried about everything else that's going on around you.
My go-to when it rains is, boys, you were born wet. Just suck it up. You were born wet, or at least that's what Coach Byers used to tell us at Randolph Middle School back in the late 90s, I guess, late 90s. You were born wet.
If that's not a T-shirt yet, it should be. That, along with you can only get wet once, right? So
that's it.
Once you're wet, you're wet. Well, Happy New Year, brother.
You too, man. You too.
I have a feeling that guys across the nation, based on what I've seen in Slack, are filling out 8 blocks. I've seen some one words pop up. I've seen a lot of guys popping off on the 75 Hard channel on Slack, which is great. I'm repeating that. Day 6. I think the 75 stands for how many times a day we have to pee.
Well, you drink that much water. I mean, that's
it
par
is
for the course.
Out of control, man. I mean, a gallon a day. It's a thing. It's a real thing. Everybody, going into it, you think it's that second workout. And I'll admit, there's times at 10 o'clock at night, you're thinking, oh man, I still got to get that other 45 in. But there is nothing compared to slamming down a gallon of water a day and trying to keep a track. A Zoom meeting with 5 interruptions and it's only a 30-minute meeting. I mean, come on.
That's one of those where you have to have a bottle hidden conspicuously underneath the desk. I recommend a wide mouth Gatorade, one of the big bottles. I'm just saying, if not from experience by any means.
Yeah, not at all.
Just hearsay.
I mean, who would ever take a box cutter and cut off like the top half of a gallon jug? Right?
Yeah. Just make sure you're on mute. That's the one bit of advice I would give.
Or that it at least is raining out a window that somebody else can see. Well, hey, we've got some pretty cool things that have happened to us. I know we've taken a bit of a pause and a hiatus, and that's all good. I know behind the scenes, you and I, our families both needed a rest, and it's been good to hibernate a little bit. We're coming out of hibernation. I'm sure most guys have seen it, but we've got a pretty cool thing about to happen to not only the Stuff We're Trying podcast, but also the COT podcast and Hunt for Wellness.
Yeah.
And there's this whole thing that's about to happen. I'll let you, if you are so inclined, to kind of set this up, and we'll tell guys the who, what, when, where, why, and how after that.
Perfect. So there's a network called NGBN.TV, and these guys have approached F3 and they've asked for us to put some content on their network. And of course, we have content that we are very proud of, talking to the men across the nation about what's going on in their regions, what's working, what's not working, what they learned from it. And what they have approached us with, NGBN.TV, is a partnership. Come on board with us, share your content so that we can inspire, entertain, celebrate, educate, and support men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And if that doesn't sum up who the majority of our packs are, so think of it like live sports, some sports talk, music, documentaries, talk shows, health and leisure, lifestyle, and it's all tailored to men that just quite frankly are our guys, our F3 guys. But Tommy Boy, I want you to tell us why it matters, why this group of men, and why F3 needs to be a partner with NGBN.TV.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, NGBN, the whole mission is they're more than a TV network, right? And we're going to be available. We'll get into the specifics here, but we're going to be available everywhere, which is wicked exciting. Mm-hmm. But the whole idea is that this is a movement, right? The mission of NGBN it extends beyond entertainment. They are committed. You and I are committed. Everybody who's involved, committed to addressing the real issues faced by middle-aged men. We call it the mental health battle, right? We call it mental battle, including mental health for them and the rising concerns specifically of suicide in the age group of men in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. I don't know if you know the statistics. I happen to have a great friend who is a massive advocate and a huge national fundraiser for the National Suicide Network. Men in America make up 75% of all suicides. And so I don't take that lightly at all. You never know who's dealing with what personal battle inside, which, as we know in F3, that COT, that circle of trust, is priceless because it gives a guy an opportunity to stand out and speak up and share. And we get to create that environment, right? It's not easy to step in the middle of a circle and share something ever. But when you build that camaraderie in the gloom and you're out of breath and you're at wit's end, you get a little weak and you get a little loose in the lips, but for the good reasons, right? Yeah. And you just finally say, I need help. And you and I have talked about it before. Asking for help is not giving up. It's the refusal to give up.
That's right.
So you asked why. I mean, why not? I mean, F3 we're unique in this partnership because we are the boots in the ground of this movement. Mm-hmm. When NGBN launches in January, the 29th is our sneak peek. We, F3, get to be the network of men that all the other programs can connect guys to. Oh, you like the NGBN content? Fantastic. Have you heard of F3? Because F3 can unlock your purpose. Yeah. F3, they're doing what NGBN TV is all about. Think about it it's our credo in action.
Yeah.
It's leaving no man behind and definitely leaving no man where we found him.
Yeah. You mentioned the reach. We have approximately 85,000 guys in F3, and that's worldwide in the majority of the states, and we're covering the globe. But this is going to give us an avenue to reach out to additional households. So think about it this way. We're talking Roku, Amazon Fire, YouTube. Soon we're talking Apple TV Plus, potentially 4.1 billion devices. Mm-hmm. 87% of homes in Canada and US have one. I'm thinking about my house already. Every one of my TVs is connected in some way to a streaming service. So if I were to download this app, then I could view it on my phone. I could view it on my computer. I could view it on smart TVs, the Roku, the Fire Stick, all those pieces. In essence, what we're doing is we are going to be able to give a platform to send men. You're looking, you feel like you need something, go to f3nation.com, find a workout near you, find a community of men who love and support you to make you better. That's it. So they're giving us the opportunity and the avenue to connect men who are just like you and I, who need you and I, and guys like us to be that community of like-minded men just trying to accelerate.
Yeah, and a couple cases in point, really more some housekeeping, right? Some guys might be hearing this and thinking, I enjoyed the Stuff We're Trying podcast. What's going to change? Well, let's be clear. Nothing's going to change other than the opportunity to expand who we are reaching. We love to connect guys from across the nation. And now, as of our conversation with the guys over across the pond in the UK, around the planet. And that's only going to get bigger because F3 is only getting bigger. So we still want to know what guys are up to. We will always be bringing guys in with great ideas, with challenges worth trying, stuff worth trying, solutions for challenges that don't seem to go away, all of those great things. And the idea is we get to entice men who are not in F3 to say, man, that sounds really fun and stupid and challenging and difficult and a community. And I need that in my life because I've been disconnected because I'm so focused on my job or my struggles. And I'm tired of doing it by myself. Yeah. So nothing as far as our platform is changing, which is super exciting because we're going to be able to reach more guys, which means we have great news stories to tell. Yeah. So here's the thing. We just talked about challenges. The men of F3 love a challenge. So come January 29th, there's a very specific challenge. Italian Job, I'll let you drop the hammer on the packs.
Yeah, so here's the deal. January 29th is that sneak peek we're talking about. And our goal here is to download on your devices, not just on your phone, not just on the living room TV, but if you've got 3 devices, 10 devices, download the NGBN app and you go through your app store, you go through the platform on Roku, on Apple. Now, don't do it yet because it's not entirely set up on all those platforms yet. But on the 29th, plug them in, download them on your devices, and then start looking through, see what's out there. I mean, there's some exciting stuff that we're already hearing about. Back in the early days of ESPN, they covered these random one-off bowling events and things. We're going to do that with things like pickleball and being live at the Radio Row for the Super Bowl, combine, NFL combine type stuff. I mean, it's all the content that you just don't find, and maybe you'll find it on ESPN, the Ocho. We joke about the Ocho, but that's the type of content that we're going to have to start off with and build up from there. Our content stays exactly the same. We're not changing anything about what we do. We're going to be out there for you, but the goal is on the 29th, to download on all of your devices, and then we'll start getting the content out there. It's a sneak peek. Some things might slip through the cracks and that sort of thing. That's fine. That's part of the growing and the learning curves. But just download it on the 29th, and we'll put stuff on social media. Hey guys, today's the day. Download it, put it out there, and honestly, that is going to the 10,000. The reason that we're trying to get at 10,000 people that are going to download, or 10,000 downloads, because once you do that, you're trending. And when you're trending, then everybody says, wait a minute, this is a real deal. So that's the goal here, for the guys to download and put it on your social media. Hey, get involved in ngbn.tv. F3 has this partnership, and it's going to be a great deal. So that's it. That's what we're talking. On the 29th of January, download on your devices the NGBN app, and we'll put this stuff out there. And then we're really on this ride together. We call it a pirate ship. We're swashbuckling pirates on the pirate ship, Buccaneers, man. We're just trying to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, you and I are really lucky. The other night we got to spend some time with all the other, not all the other, just some of the other, but I was already on fire for the other hosts and their shows and their content. Some will be live. There'll be some live streaming stuff. Ours will be pre-recorded. So if anybody is thinking we're going to be live and that makes you not want to be a guest on Stuff We're Trying, sorry, your excuses don't count. We want to hear your ideas, and everybody else deserves to hear those ideas. And there's some really great stuff across the board, from nutrition to mental health. You mentioned sports. There's music stuff that I was fired up about. There's some documentary content. These are just straightforward people, guys and gals, that have a passion for making sure that they're snatching a man away from making a permanent decision over a temporary problem, which will impact. I mean, if we could save one person, that's a big deal. And I know that there are hundreds of sets of ears, maybe thousands of sets of ears listening right now that know a guy, or maybe have been that guy. And that's why I take it so seriously. So look, you're not going to hear these words often in an F3 situation, but we're going to make it easy on you. I'm going to cut and paste the link to NGBN TV, put it in the show notes. All you need to do right now, if you're listening, is grab that link, open your calendar app, drop the link on the 29th of January, title the appointment, if you will, sneak peek NGBN. And on that day, open up your devices, do us a favor, drop it, because nothing draws a crowd like a crowd. And
Yeah.
so we want to be trending so that we can reach more men. And in turn, what happens is not only do we have an impact on the mental battle, we have an impact on significant growth across F3 Nation. I didn't tell you I was going to do this, IJ, but let me ask you, because you're a man of many great words that I know. I am one of tens of guys that can't wait to see what your tweets are each day. I kid, of course. They do matter a lot. Why are you drawn, or why are you excited, or both, to this opportunity?
For me, 10 years of F3 has taught me that I'm not on an island. I feel like at work, a lot of times, though I'm part of a team, if it fails, I feel like it's on me. It's on my shoulders. And through F3, I never feel like I'm alone. I never feel like the struggles are too much that I can't bear the burden, because I've got brothers who are helping to shoulder that burden with me. So when I heard about NGBN.TV and the concept of, hey, we exist to help men find their purpose. So yeah, that's exactly what TBN. The reason we do the Stuff Worth Trying podcast is because we care to share the stories of other men. We want to hear what's going on in their worlds, because something, you and I can say things over and over again, but it takes another person to say something that it resonates. I mean, you can tell your kids something all day long on repeat, and then it just takes that one other person to say the exact same thing, and it resonates and it clicks.
Yeah.
That's what this is, bringing guys in who have something to say, and our words may not land as we plan, but another guy coming on board may say something that lands with somebody. So for us to partner, to have a larger platform, I view this as the way that we've done things historically with our podcast. It's grassroots, and it will remain grassroots. But now, instead of just paddling around in a small boat and hoping that somebody sees us, we're in a cruise ship, and we've got more visibility, and we're showing up on the radar. And so that's going to give us that platform to tell more men about how awesome F3 is, so that they can get unlocked, become the fathers that they need to be, the husbands they need to be, the coworkers and the leaders that their communities require. Quite honestly, our communities need us. And we often don't realize how valuable we are until we step into that void. And it's a whole lot easier to step into the unknown when I'm shouldered with a guy right beside me who says, "Nah, bro, I got you. I got your back. I got your six." So this partnership, why am I excited about it? Dude, we get to do the same thing we've always done. Nothing changes, but we get to do it in front of a larger crew, a larger group, so that we can say, "Oh yeah, by the way, if you like what you heard from Schmidlap and Fort Chiswell, then check out f3nation.com and find a workout near you, find your community, find your tribe."
Yeah, I 100%. Guys, if you're curious to learn more, again, the link will be there, but also hop on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, look up Ian Hill. He's the CEO, spelled just like it sounds, Ian Hill, CEO of NGBN. Great guy, got a hell of a backstory. Very passionate about it. And on his 50th birthday, his mental battle came to a head. And told his family he was going to take his life, and completely turned it around from that point forward. So I'm motivated to be alongside him. I'm motivated to be alongside these folks. And at the end of the day, I'm just fired up that you and I get to do what we love doing, which is talking with the F3 Nation. And now we get to share it on a bigger platform and ideally draw more men in. We're coming up in an election year while the rest of the world's acting like a bunch of gossip girls, yelling back and forth about somebody else's opinion. My goal is to not get caught up in that proverbial shitstorm, and spend time with high impact men that are doing big things in big ways and can't wait to give it away to the guy beside them.
And we still need the guys, and we need content. So we need you guys to reach out and say, "Hey, we got this thing going on in our region. Cool. Let's talk." Now, if you're cool with being on camera, we want you on camera. You don't have to be pretty like Tommy Boy. You can be, you can kind of look like you fell out of the ugly tree like me. But regardless, we want you on camera so we can tell your story.
Maybe we could find a sponsor that we could backlight those guys that don't want to be on camera, and we can like backlight them and do a voiceover thing.
Distort the voice. It sounds like one of those unsolved mystery videos.
Or the Hidden Magician or whatever that show was back in the day. We'll find a way. Look, F3 will find a way, guys. Do not keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Italian Job, I'm fired up, man. And I can't think of a better person to ride alongside on this journey than you. I still am blown away whenever people ask how long we've known each other. It's like, well, we've known each other for a while, but we've only been in the same space twice.
Yeah.
Saying 24 hours is a stretch. Yeah. So it's just, it's kismet, it's happenstance, it's serendipity, all those things. Serendipitous, I guess I should say. But I'm grateful for you and excited for this, and I can't wait to hear the next great thing coming out of F3 Nation.
Same, brother. You never know what's going to happen until you go out there and try something. And this is an opportunity, man. We're gonna be able to talk to new men that I don't know if you remember, because I've always said I didn't know I needed F3 until I found it. I didn't know I needed male friends until I found them, because we all have friends that are, they're circumstantial. These were my buddies in college. These were my buddies in school, in high school. That's the guy at the end of the cul-de-sac. This is the guy that I talk football with at the water cooler at work. But all that stuff falls by the wayside when the world starts shaking you. They sift right through the sifter. And the guys that hold on tight are the ones that I have sweat next to and bled next to. And quite honestly, I've cried next to. And you're one of those guys. You're one of those guys that if someone said, just for instance, Christmas just came up, and I only texted a handful of people, and I got to text TV. He's my brother. This has been a joy, and I'm excited for what comes we're at the beginning of a new year. What happens next? Well, big things happen next. And it's because, I have support from men like you, and I have your friendship, and I know we're going to roll forward and make a big impact somewhere, somehow, some way. And I'm excited to do it right alongside you, man.
Amen. Hashtag bromance. Fellas, now more than ever, do not keep those ideas to yourself. Give us a holler. We're on Twitter at F3SWT. If you are not on the Nation Slack channel, please get on the Nation Slack channel. You don't have to follow all the channels or all the hashtags. There's no points for the more that you follow. You get a whatever patch. There's none of that. Just get involved. And if you love F3, keep leaning into it. We're on Slack at SWT thread. Jump on there, share your ideas. Don't be shy. And now more than ever, please be good or be good at it.
Love you, men. Appreciate you guys.